happy day. Ishan, happy day, happy day. Ishan, happy day, happy day. Ishinau, Ayati, happy day. Ho, 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 ho.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'll start. Hadalasis, Things HD Gooding Logan. We're so happy that you're here today. My name is Gloria Burns. I am the chairperson of the Social Services Committee this year, and I'm just so proud of the work that the staff have done. And it's my honor to be the MC today to try to keep this meeting, this gathering going in a good way. And the first thing that we want to do in the realm of that, the first thing I want to do, even though it's not on the agenda, is to thank all the wonderful staff at KIC, the hard work that they've done to put this together, to raise awareness for all of our murdered and missing Indigenous people. Every person we have is a loss. They're a loss from our community, and so we're just so proud of the work that they have done to bring and highlight this. As we're standing here, before we begin, I want to say that we are here in this space, that the Haida and the Tsimshian traverse quite a bit, but it is Tlingit-Ani. It is the traditional homelands of the Tontaquan and the Saniaquan, respectively, and we're honored to be able to be here and speak in this area, which was, I believe, traditionally Nehudi land. And so we just want to go ahead and thank all of the ancestors of the people who stewarded this land for generations. And with that, I would like to ask Willard Jackson, who is Tontaquan, to come forward, and he is going to offer the prayer today.
I want to thank all of you for being here in Ward Lake. A lot of things took place over the years. An encampment of our Aleut brothers and sisters during World War II. There's some good stories from this area, and we need to remember that. I want to thank the young state trooper that's here, one of our law enforcement. We need to continue to support them as well. Our president from Tlingit-Haida, my cousin Richard Peterson, I want to thank him for being here as well and part of his executive board. And KIC council is here as well, and others that I've missed. Father, we're grateful to be here in Ward Lake to memorialize and to remember the missing and murdered. Father, stand with the families that have lost someone as well as mine, my brother Bob. Continue to be with us as we go through these losses. It never goes away. We continue to visit every day. We're going to visit in a good way today, Father, in a good way. The rain is here for a purpose. The spirits are crying out. It's very obvious they're trying very hard. We thank you for this day and continue to bless my brothers and sisters here. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please be seated. And as Willard said, this space was chosen with intention. We want to make sure that while we're focused on the murdered and missing Indigenous people of the last several generations, that we still continue to mourn, that we don't forget that just very close to us is the internment camp of our Aleut people. Many of their descendants are tribal members of KIC. And so when we look at this area, a lot of times people think of it as just a recreation area and forget that this space has so much meaning for us, so much history and so much sadness. And so now at this time, I just want to take a brief moment to go ahead and introduce the Tribal Council from Ketchikan Indian community that is here. And today, unfortunately, we were not able to be joined by President Bennett or Vice President Norman Scan, but we have Secretary Judy Lee Guthrie, who will give remarks. And we have in the crowd, of course, Marcy Haynes, who has joined us and to go ahead and honor this day with remembrance. So at this time, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Judy. But before I do, she had asked that I make sure to take a moment and specifically introduce our neighbors who sit on Tlingit Haida Central Council. They are another tribe that has great impact here. They have a large population. And so today with us, we of course have three vices with us. Oh, two vices. Three? No, you have. Oh yes, you have four. You know, well, he's not a vice; he's the president. So, Robbie, we'd like to, and so we would just want to take and say thank you all so much for being here. We have Robbie Sanderson and Catherine Edwardson and Clinton Cook is back there. Oh, he's behind Jana Lee. Hidden, and we're very excited to have Clinton join the executive team. And of course, we're always honored when Richard Peterson, President Peterson, joins us in our part of the world. So we're just so thankful they're here to give remarks and share with us in this day of remembrance as we spend our month remembering all of our people. And I'm sitting in here and I seem really loud. Am I quiet over there? Okay, I just want to make sure if I need to take a step out. So at this time, I'd like to have Secretary Judy Lee go ahead and give some remarks.
Thank you, Gloria. We also, one second.
Yes, I can.
Just turn it over. Also want to acknowledge that the Mayor of Metlakatla is also here, Mr. Smith and his wife. And I'm not sure if we're missing anyone. I'm sure we are. Make yourself known as the ceremonies get over with. I'm secretary for the KIC Tribal Council, and we have some words that we want to share with you all today. Can you all hear me?
No.
Can I get a yes? We are gathered here today to recognize and remember those loved ones who have gone missing or who have been murdered. We are gathered here to provide a space to grieve for the families they left behind. For those of you who have not been directly affected by the crisis, we appreciate your support. Your presence here shows us that you care enough to help implement change into our community. Domestic violence, sexual assault, stalking, trafficking, substance abuse, and neglect have never been in our cultural and traditional way of life. Colonization ushered in a wave of violent and devastating tactics in order to steal our land and control our communities. The missing and murdered Indigenous peoples movement is less than a decade old. However, the perpetration of violence has been continual for centuries. Our culture and our ancestors have resisted. We are still resisting today, right now. In the face of this crisis that affects each and every one of us, we must seek and demand justice. We have an obligation to our future generations to be looked back on as their ancestors who fought for the culture and their safety. Statistics are difficult to come by as there is no single concrete database that accurately represents the total number of Indigenous peoples missing or murdered in the United States. There are several smaller databases that potentially have information, but are privately owned or only accessible by law enforcement. The closest data we have gathered are that we have no less than 16 families in southern southeast Alaska who have not received justice or closure for their missing and murdered loved ones. I want to give recognition to our Indigenous members who are serving as victim advocates, ICWA staff, and behavioral health counselors for committing their career to help guide survivors of violence to safety and dignity, uplifting and empowering survivors to heal and find solace in their traditions, surrounding them with resources and hope for a brighter and nonviolent future. We rely on our whole community, tribal and non-tribal, to help to hold perpetrators and abusers accountable for their actions in order to prevent further harm to our loved ones. Thank you.
Hala for being here and giving those remarks on behalf of the president. One of the things that Judy did is she talked about the things that we are not, the values we do not have. And so I just want to take a moment to remind us all of the values that are inherent to our people. We use different language. We said them in Haida, Tlingit, Tsimshian. But these values are universal to the people of our area. And when we exercise these values in our daily life, we build resiliency in ourselves and our children, so to the 7th generation, people will be healthy and well. And so I'll read them off, and they are the ones that Ketchikan Indian community has adopted through the hard work that went on through Tlingit and Haida Central Council when they had the hearings and the meetings to go ahead and create this list. And so they are discipline and obedience to the traditions of our ancestors, respect for ourselves, elders, and others, respect for nature and property, patience, pride in family, clan, traditions, founded in loyalty, love, and generosity, be strong in mind, body, and spirit, humor, hold each other up, listen well and with respect, speak with care. We are stewards of the air, land, and sea, reverence for our Creator, live in peace and harmony, and be strong and have courage. And these all come with different names in our language, but if we were to translate them into English, this is the best that we can do. And all of those things build resiliency in us. And so as we change the future of our people and create for a better time, we remember that when we implement these in our lives, we see changes in our entire community. And so we wanted to take a moment to mention those. At this time, we will have Willard Jackson, and he will be telling the story of Fog Women, which tells an important story, and it shows our traditional values and actions. We're just so honored that Willard was able to come and do so much today for us and to provide for this. And most of you don't know, or you should know, that Willard was once on council as well. And he is a Vietnam veteran who we are so proud of and so appreciative that he's here to be with us today.
Thank you. My clicker name is Clay One. It was the name my grandmother gave me when I was 5 years old. I'm from the village of Saxman. I was raised by my grandmother, Alice Harris. And my name means honorable one. 5 of my brothers, there were 6 of us, 5 of my brothers got chief names, but I ended up with Clay One. And I was very angry for the longest time until my mother told me what that meant. And I totally understand it today. We're gifted with stories that were given by our grandmothers. All of our stories come from our grandmother's side, Tekwa D. Brown Bear. There's a pole downtown called Fog Woman. When you look at this pole, you'll see slaves up on top. This tells you the caste of the nature of that pole. Valuable, very valuable. Fog Woman was a young lady. Her father was chief of the salmon. there was a young man that had a liking to her and wanted to marry her. So he went to Bogwoman's father and started speaking to her and asking for her hand in marriage. I'm going to wait till whoever's talking get done. Whoever's on the phone, please turn it off. Anyway, he had a liking to the young lady. Said he went to cheaper the salmon and he was asking her hand in marriage. In that process, her father said, I don't ever want you to hit her. I don't want you to raise your voice to her. I don't want you to disrespect her. And he agreed to that. So they got married. And the traditional values of the Tlingit, she went to his house and stayed there. Every morning that young man would get up and go to the water, fish for his family, his wife. This was during the feast or famine time. He'd go out every day and fish for his wife. Every evening he'd come back to the longhouse and he didn't have nothing. One day he comes back and the wife asks him, did you catch anything? And he says, no, I didn't. He went out the next day and came back. In that process of him going out, to come back, he raised his voice to her again. The very next day, Bogwoman gathered the slaves together and told them to go out and pick some spruce roots. She was going to make a basket. Her husband came home and she was weaving away on this beautiful basket. And his comments to his wife was, I don't know why you're making that basket. We have nothing to put in it. And he went and sat by the fire. She just continued to weave that basket. She completed that basket. He went out fishing. He still didn't catch anything. Bogwoman commanded those 3 slaves to take the basket to the water and fill it halfway up. And bring it right back to me. They filled that basket halfway up. They brought it back to her. And Bogwoman waved her hands through it. She just waved her hands through that water. And then she told them, take it out and dump it out. As they dumped it out, all these sockeye were jumping around on the ground. And she told them to clean it and fill their cache. When they got done filling their cache, she said, fill the village's cache. And they completed that. The young man was offended. He's no longer bringing in the resources that need to be brought in. And he got angry. He struck. Bogwoman got up and she started walking out of the lodge. And she just kept going. She was heading towards the water. Her husband right behind her trying to reach out to grab her. Every time he reached out to grab her, her hands went right through her. And she just went right out in the water and just went out in the fog. As she went out, all the salmon that was caught for that village just followed right behind her. When you look at today in the Kitchikan Creek and other areas in southeast Alaska, you see those salmon returning every year. Bogwoman's still feeding us today. Respect of our women is so important. We don't teach that enough. Women are getting violated as we speak today. I used to be a domestic violence counsel for KIC, for the men. And we need to renew these and rekindle these fires and continue to uplift our women, our birth givers. Without these women in place, we wouldn't be here, gentlemen. And we need to continue to renew that and continue to renew that. Thank you very much.
At this time, could I have the staff that are going to help with the Women's Warriors chant to come forward to join me, please? That's any staff that knows the Women's Warriors chant, in case you didn't know which staff were helping me.
Stand right behind you, Gloria.
Wait a minute here. There's more KIC staff. Get up here now. All of you. Come on.
Yes, sir.
Any KIC staff needs to be up here singing with us. Come on. Michael. Come on.
So, that's okay. You can be up here. That's right. That's okay. You can just stand behind. Yes, I'll get you.
Many places will drown me out.
We're going to move all the chanters in that corner. Over this way. All right. So one of the things that they challenge themselves to do in honor of this movement was to learn the Women's Warriors chant. We were honored to have Natasha come and Natasha Clevenger and teach them it. It's really important for us to really be aware of what's going on in Indian country. And so wherever you go in Indian country, this song is sung. And so the staff really took some time. And so if you know the song, we'd love for you to join us, Theresa May, or anyone else. And we're going to go ahead and sing. Theresa May, we'd love for you to join us. This is why I'm the MC, I think, to join us. And just so the Haida descendants know who are in the room, we're actually singing the exit song now, which will be the canoe response. So when I call for you, don't be surprised. Right? We always do something unexpected, and thank you for all of your hard work. One of the reasons why we chose the Mother's Robe is because the Mother's Robe was a project that was done by many communities. Many hands of people came together. Many women throughout our community went ahead and wove on this robe for the Heritage Center through a grant. And so you'll see there was a single red dress to represent all the women that are missing. And then you have the robe that was woven by so many hands together to represent that it's going to take our entire community, all of our communities are going to have to get together, and we're going to have to start speaking up. We're going to need to say their names. We need to make sure that we're talking about every single missing person every single time. It doesn't matter how it happened. It doesn't matter the rumors that are around that young woman or man's death. Our people deserve justice, and it's going to require every one of us and every one of our allies. And so this robe was only made possible by every single one of those women who traveled throughout the entire community. And without every leader and without every single one of us stepping up to be a leader, we will not change this. We will not get justice. So we have to have them in our names, and that is why this robe was chosen. Hawa, thank you so much to all of the singers. Now they can all join a dance group, or maybe they can make one. At this time, I'd like to introduce the first of our keynote speakers, Catherine Edwardson. She is the third vice of Clinton Haida Central Council, and we're just so appreciated to have Central Council Executive Committee here, and just as proud of them, we are as proud of our local Clinton Haida chapter, and so it's a big honor for her to come and speak, because everywhere I go, when we're talking about MMIW, missing and murdered Indigenous people as well, Catherine is there, and so I know that this is something that is dear to her heart, and afterwards we'll have President Peterson, because together they're going to create reciprocity with each other to make sure that everything is in balance. So Catherine, you come forward to give your remarks, please.
And I'll probably have to come out there because my voice doesn't travel the way Gloria's does. Here, I'm Catherine Edwards, Vice President of Central Council. Like Gloria said, everywhere we go. So it's our call to be the keynote speaker today. And that our people, our values were taken away from us, because what happens to our people that go missing is it's not our way, it's not our traditional ways. It wasn't the way that it happened in our communities. So when I joined Gloria in this fight, everywhere I go, I meet with attorney generals from the states of Washington and Oregon and California, and they tell me, they say, we're working on the data. I get up and say, it's not about the data, it's about my relatives who are gone, it's about my relatives who aren't here anymore. I want you to find them, I want you to take these cases serious. I want you to look for them. You have an obligation to find them so we know what happens. Then they tell me, going missing is not a crime. It is a crime. We know our women go missing because crimes happen. We know our people go missing because of the crimes that happen. It is a crime. And I try my best thinking about all of you and everybody else and those relatives, because I don't do this work alone. I sit next to Chief Mike Williams from up north in Alaska, and I hear his story, and I think about, how does it feel when that mom or that auntie or that cousin or that sister never comes home? You don't know where she is, you don't know what happened to her, you don't know, and you wait every day for her to come home. But then they say they don't look for her. They don't look for her like my friend Tracy and Juno. They don't look for her because she's an addict or because she was selling her body. So they don't look for her. But she has a right to be found and have a right to know what happened to her. Doesn't matter what took her there. So these things, I tell President Peterson all the time. It struck me when I was at a meeting one time, listening to testimony that before they bring in the flags, and they bring in the prisoner of war flag. And I think about it all the time. I think that there are women right now trapped in a war zone in their own home or in the community somewhere. And we need not just a red dress, we need that red flag to come in to remind us all. And I want to thank my brothers on the executive council with me who have stepped up to this fight with us, that we take this serious. We want answers. Right now in the state of Alaska, there's a bill in front of the legislature that your legislators put in place, Dan Ortiz, he's asking for police enforcement of two dedicated officers to start looking and taking serious finding these missing persons, okay? And it's not just about the missing persons, it's about the violence, because the violence isn't our way. I say it all the time. Say their names, stop the silence so we can end the violence, and let's take back what the colonizers took from us. Let's find our people. Let's keep our communities safe. And I want to add one more thing to this. I don't know if you guys have been able to hear me, but I'm telling all you parents out there, I'm not saying the internet is a bad thing, but please watch what your children are doing on the internet, because it is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and those innocent games that they are playing on have backdoor chat rooms, and they'll say, I'm playing with my friend, but they don't know this friend, and that person is an adult, and they are luring your children into those chat rooms, and that's how they're getting some of our girls. So please be mindful of that and watch out for that. I am so honored to have been here, to be able to provide some words. Like I said, I don't know if it's inspirational. I don't know that it can be any more motivational. Just know that we're not going to end this fight, that Plinkett and Haida is committed to it until we get some answers about our missing people, and until we start to end the violence in our communities. Violence was not our way. And Ashish, how are you having me? Thank you.
At this time, I would ask President Peterson of Plinkett and Haida to join us, and he will be giving a keynote really to create the reciprocity. We need healthy men to be leading this charge, and we're lucky that we have so many leaders in Plinkett and Haida that are healthy and able to be of that support. So without any further ado, my favorite person.
Good afternoon. My company name is Shakti Akish, Kagwan County Legal South. My lineage, I'm proud my cousins are honored veterans. I want to thank all of our veterans, our elders, for this opportunity to be here. It's an honor to come here today on this hallowed ground. We know the history here. Be able to speak to all of you, and when I look at all of you, there's leaders in all of your seats. All of you are leaders. Every time you step up, you show up, you're a leader. And I want to say been pleased for that and work solutions. It's so important to be present. And it's important to be present because as Catherine talked about, and her heart is so in this work, we can no longer be silent. Our silence keeps us going. This silent epidemic has been happening for decades and decades and decades since colonization. Our sisters have been abused, have been taken, and while we don't like always to refer to data, I do want to, because the data tells us one thing. Overwhelmingly, it's not our men abusing our women. And the picture that's painted is that it's us. And sometimes it is, no doubt about it. And we'll call it out, we'll address it. But we also shouldn't be painted as the bad guys every time, you know. But as a man, we do have to step up, because whether it's ourselves doing it or we know it's happening, we're just as guilty. And I think it's important that we step forward. I'm going to do this right now. As a man, I will take a pledge that I will rebuke violence. Violence against our women, violence against other men, violence against our children. We have to take that stand. We have to be the change. So I'm so proud to be here today. I serve with Vice President Rob Sanderson. Rob and I have served for, I don't know how long together now, but 22 years. Rob's a man who stand up and he makes that pledge in his actions every day. I want to acknowledge Rob for doing that. Rob's words match his actions. And I think that's so important. Catherine Edwards, who's my friend and I'm honored to serve with, she testifies, she meets with congresswomen, congressmen, senators. She puts it all on the line because we have to be that change. I want to recognize our new Vice President, Clinton Cook, who's the president of the Craig Tribe. I've known Clinton for decades. He also is that kind of leader who has built a home for his family based on love. He models that in his community, and I want to say how to you, Clinton, for that. I'm really proud to look out and see so many people. I see Roberta, who serves on the community council. Roberta. Keenan, who is like my chosen nephew, and I love this young man. Keenan has really stepped up, and his leadership is really starting to shine. I look for him to take our places in a few years, though, Rob. Yeah, so happy to have Clarence Steele. Is Clarence here? Right here. Clarence, I love this guy already. Here's a guy who will admit he's made mistakes in his life and he's bettered himself so he can help others better themselves. How these people and you yourselves, by being active and speaking up, we're going to be the ones who end this. We're not going to have to bring these out. We're not going to have pictures like this anymore. We're not going to have to live with data that hurts so much, because that data represents human beings, our loved ones, our relatives. 8 years ago, my own cousin, Roy Banhart Simpson, went missing here in this town. Still missing. Nobody knows. His mother cries every night because she doesn't know. I'm thankful that the state of Alaska's finally put somebody in charge. We have a woman who is a former state trooper who's coming forward now to lead the effort. But that's one person. And we need our allies to do more. We need the states and the feds to do more. We have to end this. We will step up. We'll be the change, but we need their help. I'm happy to see my friends from state troopers here today. These are good and honorable men. I'm happy to work with them. But we need more. We need more men like that. We need more women like that to step up and help us see the change. So I want all the men here, take that pledge. Rebuke violence. Say enough is enough, and today we end it. I hope the women will do the same. Be good to each other. Be kind to each other. We come from the most beautiful people. And our people weren't like this. We weren't hurt. We weren't damaged. They didn't need to heal. We need to be the best versions of what they were. So I want to thank everyone today, Gurchish, Hawa, and Deutsche Newsom for this opportunity. Thank you.
So at this time, we are really moving towards the end of the remarks. What we'd like to have happen now is Willie is going to come forward, Mr. Jackson is going to come forward and explain the offering of the plate into the fire. And those of you who wish to go and offer a plate are welcome to join us. There will be a song and over in the other space. But it's really meant to be, it's a ceremony for ourselves that he will explain for healing. And so those of you who are comfortable are welcome to join. And those of you who prefer to walk in the rain around the lake to see the red dresses are welcome to do that as well. But we'll have the remarks here, and then we'll just, those of us who want to join over there will go over for that and for some singing, and then the rest of you may go about this beautiful day. And it's truly, our ancestors are crying. You know, we can see this, we can see it in everything. And so once again, we're going to call upon Mr. Jackson to come forward and lead us in ceremony.
Sheesh. Duke Heyday. Duke Heyday. We're missing our brother Bobby. We never recovered him. He was a handsome gentleman. We lost him when he was 26. I was 16. He knew a young lady from Heidelberg. I'm just telling this story because I knew my brother. I stayed with my father in the New York hotel because the family was split up. Bobby knew a young Heidelberg girl, last name Bell. Beautiful gal from Heidelberg. Loved my brother so much, she'd chase him around. You could see him run, he'd run around circles. That was my brother. He was an artist, great artist. Heyday means we're going to feed your face, we're going to feed you. We're going to feed the spirit. We believe that spirit lives on. We believe in reincarnation of name. That's my name, Clay One. As they were placing the robe and bringing the mother's raven's tail robe out, I blessed them over in the corner. There's curators from the museum that are caretakers of this robe. And told them when you put it back on the mannequin, tell them it's not me doing it, it's my ancestors. It's not me doing this ceremony, it's my ancestors. So they're here, they gathered here to help us through that process. Those that want to take part in offering their name up in a few minutes, we're going to offer names out. I'm going to offer my brother's name, Bobby. And those that want to offer a name up of missing or murdered, please do so. And then we're going to put that food into the fire and feed the spirits. When I go fishing in the summertime, and I go all the time in the summer, I'll be eating on board the deck of the boat. I won't finish what I'm eating. I'll offer it to my brother. I'm feeding my brother. My mother, Cartier, that name that was given to her means the sun coming out of the basket. Cartier, Tequidi Brown Bear. She composed that song for our brother. The song my granddaughter and I are going to sing, as well as support of the Tongass tribe, as well as Naomi will come up and support us. Judy will come up and she's my family. I need to remember this. Whom I connected to. Mrs. Guthrie, she's my family. I want her to come up. They're my family. We're one big circle. Regardless of what happens in this world, we're family. And we've got to support one another. So we're going to break over from here and go over and do that fire dish. Ganesh cheese, thank you.
How just everybody today, I want to say this is a good time to go inside, to think about our values and to be prayerful, to look at this space and this place and to feel these tears. As he said, we invite you over to join us in this ceremony if you're comfortable, or to walk the trail, or to come back and walk the trail tomorrow when I know it's going to be sunshiny. Paula Ganesh Cheese in Deutschen for being here.